G'day and welcome. Here we are, another how-to video. Today I'm going to show you how to check and how to replace your lower shock mount bearing. They're a Heim joint special roller sort of bearing there. We'll knock it out and have a look, but first of all we're going to see how to check it, because most of you want to see how to see if yours is dead or not. So I've got it up on a bike stand here. So there's obviously no weight or anything on the back tyre, and then from there it's just a matter of lifting the swing arm up and down, and you can actually see mine's pretty well gone there, because when I lift up the swing arm you can see that movement between the swing arm mount there and the shock. Have a look again. So mine's got a fair bit of movement there, so we're going to replace that today, and I'll show you how to do it. So here it is off there, the little mud flappy bit there. Now you can see you've got a lot better access to the rear swing arm and the bolt and everything here to get to that easily. Now we've got the 13mm bolt that runs through the lower shock mount here. And so we're going to knock that out now. Oh, I did that up rather tight last time. And that just comes all the way out. Okay, take a bit of weight off of it. Off of the swing arm here, I'm just lifting up on the swing arm. Take a bit of weight off and pull that bolt right out. There we go. You can see it's pretty wet and rusty in there already. You can tell what it's gonna be like. Top shock bolt as well, which is through a little viewing window here, sort of thing on the fuel tank. It's just going to be easier to remove the whole shock. Out comes that top bolt there for the shock. Oh, drop that down there as well. And there's your rear shock out. We've got out the whole rear shock and the mud flap here, just to give us a lot more space. I mean, it's a quick few seconds of a job sort of thing to just remove those things. It just makes your job so much easier. Is you want to get your best Troy Lee Designs shop rag and give things a bit of a clean up first. So today we're using the All Balls bearing kit here for the lower shock on the KTMs. Pretty well fit everything really. They should be all pretty similar. You can see the main components are, there's the actual bearing that we're replacing, Heim joint, whatever you want to call it, and then we've got the spacers, and we've got the oil seals as well to go in. I've got a screwdriver and a hammer, and that's just going to allow me to knock out the spacers on either side there. So it's just a matter of tucking it up behind the opposite spacer and a few taps, and out comes one side spacer. There we go. And it's just a matter of doing it from the other side now. I'll just knock out the spacer on the opposite side now. Pop, out she comes. So there's the two spacers that have come out. You can see in there already she's all rusty and flogged out, so that's why we're having to replace it. So the oil seals are nicely rusted in there, as you can see, so had to give it a bit of a mashing. Like I said, you just got to be careful you're not doing anything to the actual mounting point here. So give it a little bit of a tap and get something to pry against now. There we go. Now comes the oil seal. We've got a 22mm socket here, which is the best fitting size. It fits over the joint but into the housing properly, so it's a matter of now knocking out the joint. Got it out and hit my thumb. Oh, lovely. Okay, so the old joint's out there. You can see we're going to have to give this a good clean up in here. It's nice and dirty and whatever. So here's the old joint, rusted to nothing and lots and lots of play in it. So that's why we're replacing it. Okay, so I've got some reasonably fine sandpaper and I'm just going to give it a really light sand in there and just get rid of all the gunk and make sure it's a nice even surface for the new bearing, for the new seals and everything in there, so that it's, you know, everything's going to sit nicely. You can feel it's really flattening out nicely there. Now we'll get our Troy Lee Designs shop rag again, give it a nice clean out in here, so there's no gunk in there at all. You want it really nice and clean in there. When you're chucking a new bearing in and new seals and everything, you just want it really nice and clean. Alright, it's looking pretty good. So now I'll get some quality bearing grease here, and I'll start by whacking a little bit, that's a little bit, all around on the inside of where these bearings and seals are going to go. Process, but before I do, I'm just going to chuck some grease into here. It's not going to hurt it at all to have some grease in there. And we'll just feed it into the edges like that. The only difference with this bearing is it doesn't have a locator. It doesn't seat home anywhere, so you've got to center it up once you've tapped it in far enough. So what we'll do is we'll tap it in a little way, get it into the housing itself and in a little way from the housing, and then we'll just start measuring up either side there to make sure it's centered. 22mm socket, and we'll just start tapping it in like a bearing and that sort of thing. You want to make sure that it starts off nice and even, so it's a matter of tapping it all around. One of the easiest ways I think is going to be is just finding a little prong, anything that's going to take a good mark from a pencil, and just put it in either side, give it a little bit of a mark. There we go. Check on the other side, and oh, we're so close. That's nearly perfect. That's going to take half a tap, and that's going to be dead in, right in the center. So we'll give it a little tap, not too much, don't want to go too far, like that. And I think if we turn this around now to a new marking spot, we'll get around this side and press it up in there nicely. Mark that, there we go, and oh, absolutely perfect, spot on. So, ready to move on now. We just keep reversing the process. I'd clean it up here again with your beautiful Troy Lee Designs shop rag. Should get a sponsorship or something. Anyway, and I'm going to put a little bit more grease into either side there, where these oil seals are going to go as well. And then we'll just knock those in nice and flat as well. One of the tricks with these oil seals is to get them in and get them started just the tiniest little bit, just like that. And once they are started and nice, so get yourself a small little block of wood and get them going like that. That way you know that you're getting a nice sort of even surface across the whole seal there, and you know you're only going to go to flush as well, because you can't go any further because the block's going to stop it, isn't it? Once you feel that's pretty good, give it a bit of a feel here, and it's absolutely perfect. So the kit comes with spacers as well. There's no left and right of these, so you just chuck them in one side or the other, and they'll need a little bit of a tap in there to get home. Beautiful, look at that. We have a nice new bearing joint, nice new seals, and even some new spacers in there, so she's ready to put back together. Alright guys, so the lower shock mounting bearing there is done. I hope this has helped a few of you out. Like I say with all my how-to videos, just get in there, give it a go. It's not hard stuff. You'll learn along the way, and you'll get to know your bike really well as well. So thanks for all those subscribers, and we'll see you on the next how-to.